you share your thought process, and through you sharing your thought process and people adopting into your thought process, they are able to give you, because it's not going to come from you yourself. They are able to give you that level of expertise. So there is a high possibility, even if I introduce a new thing, they are going to vibe with it because I already have a track record of things working, of systems that work, that bring results, and are easy to do. Because remember, we are lazy out here. We want to do very simple things. Hatutaki vitu complicated. We want very, very simple things that we can be able to do ourselves, and even if we need help.
Based on the education system in Kenya, that will hunt most of us. So we had that perception, like you after school, you get a good job, you get a 6-figure salary if you have a degree, and then here you are. Now you had to relearn that.
Yeah.
You had to relearn that because you are being paid a 6-figure salary, but you are like, nah, I don't want to be here.
Even as you look at these businesses, tuongelele pia Microsoft. The moment they discovered people hate papers, the moment they discovered we can actually create a system that can allow people to create documents and they don't have to keep writing over and over and over and over and over 50 times, that is when Microsoft picked up. You have to be fully committed at work. And during your free time, do your own thing. That's why I was talking about time management.
Hello, tumekuja na tangazo. That's the song stuck in my head. Hi, welcome back to Kenyan Design Conversations. And yes, tumekuja na tangazo. We want to show you what it means to do personal branding for yourself as a designer. And my name is Chandarata, your amazing host. With me, my co-host,
Mariga Elvis. And with not much ado, I want to welcome our guest.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gloria. I don't know. I think I just like introducing myself as a girl on a mission. So I'm on a mission to empower professionals to become brands. Yeah, that's my mission. And yeah, I don't have a lot to say.
And then you call yourself a bold boss lady, and
know, right?
And then she says she doesn't have anything to say.
Imagine she's not even talked about the Bold Boss company. Like, come on, stop being modest with your introduction. Like, the only request nakwanga, tafadhali sema tu venye unaweza taka mtu mwingine aku introduce, because we don't know who you are, but we actually do. Me personally, I know. And so does Elvis, but our audience doesn't. Tell us everything. From the awards to the everything. Kila kitu.
Okay. Everything as in what? I've been a software engineer for the past 6 years and counting, because I still practice software engineering and coding. Recently, I started my own company called the Bold Boss Consultancy. You can Google it. It's number one. It's number one when you search for that particular key phrase. And I also have my own community. I do have my own community called the Bold Boss Community, where we empower professionals career-wise, tech-wise, as well as creative-wise, because building a personal brand doesn't start from you just doing things in silence. You have to start shouting about them. And content creation really serves as a really good tool, especially when it comes to personal branding. So that's what we do with the community. Aside from that, I enjoy reading and journaling a lot. I'm also a speaker. I'm also an MC. I'm also a tech event organizer. I also do partnerships in the tech space. So there's a lot I do, which I cannot sum up in one sentence. And I'm pretty sure if we start talking about what I do, tutashinda hapa. So let me leave it at that.
Ni sawa. Yani umesema utaki kuongea mengi kuhusu wewe. So apart, like you've really talked about, the other side of the world. Mm-hmm. Mi napenda kupanda miti. As in probably you can say I'm an environmentalist. Don't be surprised tomorrow I'll have an organization to support things dealing with the environment.
Mm-hmm. We don't be surprised because it exists. We know. We are sorry. Nataka kuuliza Gloria. Tell us why what mission is this you're on?
Funny story. So I'm on a mission to empower professionals, and I really want to start from the communication sector, because I feel like a lot of us, we are good at what we do, but we're not good at packaging what we do to sell to other people. There's this concept I read from a book. I don't remember which book it was. I read a lot of books. But that person who had written that book, he said that the best salesman, you will get to know you are a good salesman when you can effectively sell yourself. And that concept really sunk deep in my brain. And it got to a point where I sat down, nikaanza kujiuliza, na by the way, without these professional achievements and everything I've been able to do for the past 6 years, what is the one word that can describe me? And it will cover both my professional, personal, and financial life, because all these three are intertwined. And I was like, I really don't know what that word is. So as I continued thinking about it, because that started like 2 years ago, around 2022, when I was getting ready to finish up my schooling and start now being fully focused on the professional world. And I was like, if there was one word that could speak about Gloria, I really wanted it to be branding. Not communication, not finance, not systems, nothing, branding. Because I really want to assist as much as I can. I help people learn how to package themselves, so that when someone hears your name, they know exactly what you stand for and what you can be able to do for them without you having to speak. And that is that was the birth of what I do and the mission I have right now. So I think that gives a brief explanation of the mission I'm on. Sijui kama nimejibu swali yako, Chantel.
Perfectly. Wow, it's amazing. Producer nalala. Mi hata ningekuwa nimeka drum roll. Nimepiga makofi yake jamani. Wacha tu niweke initoke. Ngoja.
Sema itoke. Sawa.
I love that you found Ebu. First of all, let's recognize the fact that she's been a software engineer for 6 years. It's hard. Ebu, tell us. Hey, what? Now I have so many questions, all the way from how did you manage to move through a world where people just say wanawake hawezi code, wakishinda code or design ama wanafanya management. umekuwa hapo 6 years. I also want to ask, as in, why personal? I'm glad that you got to a point where you had like, you just chose it's personal branding, not finance, not computer science, personal branding, because it's important and you found the importance. How did you get to that point?
Before you go there, let me tell Chantel one thing. The first programming language was written by a woman.
Yes, thank you. Si mimi unaambia ambia watu wanasemanga
na sasa ukisema ngoja kwanza ukisema yali navigate if the first human
because
being.
It's hard.
It's not hard.
Hawezi elewa.
Sawa.
Please, and that is one thing, and I think that is one thing even as human beings we need to come to terms with. Just because something comes easily to you, it doesn't mean it comes easily to every other person.
Mm-hmm.
And just to bring you closer to home, when you think about something like engineering, okay, let me not use engineering because we are technical people. Let me use something like customer relations. When it comes to customer relationships, you'll find a customer relationship specialist ako very good at it. You as a technical person, you're trying to analyze. Aliwezaje kuconvince mtu atume message, calm down. To you, it seems so hard, and it's very true. It's very hard to you because you are thinking in the technical way. But this customer specialist, they are not actually thinking about it in a technical way because it comes naturally to them. The same way kwako, coding or designing will come naturally to you. So to you, design is easy. But to that customer specialist, design is complicated. And that is why you should, and I think this one I'm speaking directly to Mariga, and that is why when you hear someone saying, how did you get to this point, or asking a question that will ease their mind or help them try to figure out how they can understand how you are able to do something, always have it at the back of your mind. Something that comes easily to you does not come easily to the other person. I'll say it's a gift and a curse, because it serves us both. It serves you as a gift, but it serves the other person as a curse, because they still can't figure out how you are able to find it so easily to you. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that one really makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, so umesema deep down you've just said like it's very good for someone to like to understand him or herself first.
Yeah.
Because that one can guide you on the way forward. Do what you're good in, what you believe in yourself, like how do you envision things and everything else in terms of career-wise and life. True. Okay. So coming here, mimi nataka unieleza kama mimi personally am a software developer. But sasa nakuanga pia designer, but designer nakuanga nimecheza chini ya maji kidogo. Lakini mimi napenda design. So how can I brand myself so that anyone can see me as a designer outside here? You being an advocate of personal branding, and you like literally branding yourself digitally.
Let us start with the basic understanding of personal branding, because I think we confuse branding with personal branding. Personal branding is a whole different school. Branding is also another different school, but here we're focusing on personal. Because the thing is, when it comes to personal branding, you're actually attaching personal aspects to whatever it is you're doing. So your brand can be tied to so many different niches. Like for you, for instance, umesema you do design and you're also a software engineer. So personal branding can accommodate both. Business branding accommodates just one. I hope you're getting the distinction.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so that is business branding and personal branding. Now, with personal branding, you don't share your expertise. You share your thought process. I hope tunapelekana. Nisikuwe napoteza watu.
Vibaya sana.
So with personal branding, you share your thought process. You don't share your expertise. With business branding, you share your expertise. And that is why when you hear a name like Google, you already know these people are going to give us solutions on how to access knowledge and research materials. Iyo tunajua. But when you look at someone like Elon Musk, you know this person is just thinking about doing the unthinkable.
Yeah.
Right? That is why even when he took Twitter, you guys knew free speech was going to be very much available. Because the way we are used to, he usually, not usually, but the governments that exist, they usually limit free speech. But because Elon Musk is the doer of the unthinkable, he bought Twitter, and right now, free speech is actually free speech.
Yeah.
Gone are the days where you could just say something controversial about a government on Twitter, unakuwa blocked. Sasa hiyo huwezi kuwa blocked. I mean, we've seen it ever since maandamano.
Yeah, sure.
So that is what personal branding basically is. You share your thought process, and through you sharing your thought process and people adopting into your thought process, they are able to give you, because it's not going to come from you yourself. They are able to give you that level of expertise. So they can brand you as the tech guy. They can brand you as the communications guy. They can brand you as the food guy. Yeah, through just by interacting with what you do and how you explain what you do, how you do it. Now, coming back to your designs and your software engineering, you can actually intertwine them. And by you intertwining them is actually you just sharing the process of how you are able to intertwine them. Because people are not going to fall in love with your expertise. They're going to fall in love with what you can do for them. And there is proof of concept. So
drum roll, please.
So once someone sees this person went from being a zero designer with some software engineering experience, for example, don't throw stones at me. But say, for example, you are a beginner designer and you have some experience in software engineering. If they can be able to follow your journey of how you started with design and intertwined it with your software engineering, these people are more willing to trust you than they would have ever trusted you if you just showed them a finished product.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that is how personal branding works. Because, for instance, for me, next year, we will be launching very many personal branding skills and courses and strategies and systems. Because it has been proven to work over the period of time I have been doing it. And people have seen it. And people have what is the language you use as Gen Zs? Vibed with it. Wamevibe nayo. So there is a high possibility, even if I introduce a new thing, they're going to vibe with it because I already have a track record of things working, of systems that work, that bring results, and are easy to do because, remember, we are lazy out here. We want to do very simple things. Hatutaki vitu complicated. We want very, very simple things that we can be able to do ourselves, and even if we need help, it is the minimalist help. Kabisa. So I hope that answers your question, Marika.
So apart from, like I intertwining like design and being a software engineer, there's also something about consistency.
True.
So like you envisioning like the bold boss lady, like by next year you'll be showcasing like what you have been doing before. For someone to believe, or a company to believe where you are right now, by next year, that is. It has been all about consistency all along.
Yes, and there's a myth. There's a myth of consistency. It's called the myth of what? Because there's a acronym inakuanga nayo. I'm trying to remember it. Kumbuki, but I'll still make it a bit digestible. So there's this myth around consistency, discipline, and motivation. And it's very easy because right now, tuseme tu kweli, we are heading towards the beginning of the year and people are going to start very strong. We are going to start very strong. Tutafanya to goal planning hapo. Kidogo kidogo tumeandika tu vitu hapa. Gonna be doing this daily. And the first 2-3 months, we are gonna be consistent. But then after that, it's gonna die down. You start hearing people saying, "Oh, I tried, it didn't work. Oh, I did." Let me tell you, consistency, it works with discipline more than it works with motivation. I remember there was a time I used to wake up. Before I got into the habit of reading books, there were days I would look at the books I need to read and I'll be like, I don't want to do this. I can't do this. I have code. I have bugs that are not working. I have bills to pay. I do not have the time to sit down with this book. But
I can totally relate. Except me hapo ndo niko sahi.
But now you have to move past the motivation. Because motivation dies. Tuseme tu kweli. Motivation dies.
And then you look for another thing that can make you feel motivated.
Yes, it dies so many times. But if you work past the motivation, and it can be anything, I usually advocate start with the smallest. Anzia tu pole pole. Usianze kujiambia, oh, I want to reach, like, for instance, let me use the case example of when I got to the point where I decided I'm going to quit. It was not an easy decision. Before I got to that point where I was really convinced this is gonna work, I had to work past 2 years of feeling like this is not going to work. I'm putting myself in a terrible situation. Sitaitoka, I'll be nitachekwa. And then kuna kwanga na hiyo status quo, especially when you're earning a lot, because that time I was earning in 5 figures. Was I earning? No, I was earning 6 figures actually. And kuna hiyo status quo unakuanga kwayo. And I was like, this yes, I want to do this, but I'm motivated. Tunaanzia mwaka na ninajua by the end of this year I'm gonna quit. Tunafika end of the year, I have literally I'm not ready. I can't quit. I mean, it was just a fallacy and so many things. But I remember this year, because I had been planning to quit for a very long time. I was to quit my job at around 2022, end of 2022. But then, every time ninafika end of the year, plan changes. Yeah. And now, when it got to this year, January, nilikuwa nimeamua this year is not going to end with me being employed. I'm going to use that example. So January kafika, I'm still at a job I hate. And I was like, I need the motivation. A month passed. I need the motivation. Another month passed. I need the motivation. And when it got to March, I remember I just told myself, did you decide to quit? Yes. How many years was that? 2 years ago and some months on top. But are you ready to make a change or not? And I remember I told myself, tomorrow I am handing in my resignation letter. Come rain, come sunshine, I will figure it out. And before you get to that point where you are at that, it's not even discipline, it's not even consistency. It is getting rid of the decision fatigue. Because most of us, tunakuanga hapo. We know we have to do this. But we are prolonging where we are at now, plus the decision that's gonna change our lives. Hapo katikati ndo tuko, which is called decision fatigue. You are overthinking it. What if this goes wrong? What if this goes right? What if I don't make it? What if? And before you get to that point of discipline and consistency, you have to get rid of the decision fatigue.
So how do you do that?
And before she said that, I feel like based on the education system in Kenya, that will hunt most of us. So we had that perception, like you after school, you get a good job, you get a 6-figure salary if you have a degree, and then here you are. Now you had to relearn that.
Yeah.
You had to relearn that because you are being paid a 6-figure salary, but you are like, nah, I don't want to be here. This is not me. Yes, I can be here. I have the skill. I'm here. It's 2 years down the line and I've not been fired yet. So meaning I'm delivering, but I don't want to be here.
Interesting. I've never had that perspective.
And then now you're branding yourself to a whole person that who you really are now. And then you have this dream, this goal to empower. Yes, to empower us.
Yes,
literally.
That's why you're on a mission.
Yeah.
Girl on a mission.
Big boss lady.
Chiki.
Bold. Bold. It's not big. Bold.
We kila mtu ako. Mimi kuna kitu na relate to nayo. Sasa sio chini.
Unisameni bold boss.
Kwangu tu ni girl on a mission.
So, the unlearning, relearning is a whole process. And that is why at some point I started reading books. Because, I mean, tuseme tu kweli, system inakuanga tu the same. I mean, see, we have all been brought up in an African home. Kila mzazi anakuambianga tu, soma, upite, uende shule mzuri, upite, uende university mzuri, upite, utapata kazi. I know so many first class graduates who are out here tamaking. And it's so true because for me now, I decided to unlearn when I was still in high school. Because I would sit down with some of my cousins and some of my friends who had finished school before me. Nauliza tu, na manze kumaliza shule inafilaje? Wananiambia, we? Shukuru Mungu uko high school. And then for me, I used to be a very critical thinker. I'm an overthinker by nature. And I used to wonder, mbona wote wananiambia the same thing? There must be something that's not adding up. So by the time I was around 4 to 5 months to my 17th birthday, ndo nikaanza kufikiria, na by the way nikitoka huku nje, what do I want to do? I knew I had fallen in love with computers because my sister was doing computer studies when she was in high school. Akanunuliwa lapi na dad, and I started kuchokora. So I knew one way or another I'm going to do something related to computers, but I didn't know what. So si research yangu kidogo nini. I also did computer studies in school nini. So by the time I was getting to finishing my form 3, nilikuwa najua nataka kuwa engineer, software engineer. When we got to the point where we were registering for schools, I think hiyo time yenye mnaenda kufanya KCSE ndo mnaletewa sijui hizo forms, mchague universities, you start consulting sijui career what, ma motivation speakers wanakuja wakiwa wengi, waanze kuwatusi wakiwaambia watu wenye wanapatanga D sijui. Around that time I actually used to skip those motivational whatevers niende nikafanya vitu zingine.
Haya, wasikusikie.
I used to hate them, by the way. Let's just be honest. I used to hate them because they never used to tell us the truth.
It's true, but sasa wengine wetu hatukuiona.
Maybe ndio wako wanajua.
They never used to tell us the truth kwa sababu there was this one motivational speaker. Sistangu alikujanga home one day from school. Akaanza kusema anamchukia sijui nini, alafu tukamwona kwa TV akaanza kurudia tena namchukia sijui nini. So me being the curious person I am, nikaenda ku research, and unfortunately he also came to our school. Kumbe jangili ajai hata pata maisha yake yote, na ako busy sijui I'm like, bro, practice what you preach. Stop teaching us wine and you stop teaching us water and you've been having wine on the side. It makes no sense.
Huni nani tumsalimie kidogo?
Tumsalimie, I can't.
Gen Z.
I can't do that. Yeah. Siwezi spoil the reputation ya watu because it's hard to build a reputation.
Usijali. We're not doing that here.
Let me give you a funny situation that happened due ya Gen Z. So kuna juu ya kusalimiana kama Gen Z. So this day nimevaa triple XL ndio jacket. Nimeingia kwa ofisi.
Kuna watu wale triple XL ndio jacket.
Ni jacket tu imekuvaa jacket kubwa yani vizuri. Nimefika kwa ofisi. Nataka kusalimia boss wangu. Boss wangu ako around 30-40s. Alafu akaniambia ngosonga nyuma kidogo. Najua Gen Z nyinyi tunaogopa. Sitaki unisalimie. Nimevaa triple XL. Hebu fungua jakoni confirm uko unarmed.
Jesus.
Naka waimbi fulani hapo. Waimbi fulani hapo.
Uliamua kuingia ka gondi wewe?
Zizi lakini si ni kuvaa jako ni triple XL.
Ona tutatafuta hiyo picha. Nitamtumia.
It's not in the internet.
Ni sawa.
Unataka kupea watu hatata kuku nje wewe?
Anyway.
But anyway.
Sasa ni kujibrand sasa anyway.
I realize kitu. I've been doing it wrong. This whole time.
How have you been doing?
I've been mixing business and personal. Yote ni branding. What? Hey, okay. Kwanza maneno.
Yeah. Sasa si kujibrand sasa.
Kujibrand inaanzanga mbali. But anyway. So the unlearning and the relearning, it has to start from the decision fatigue. Hapo ndo inafaa kuanzia. Because there comes a point in your life where uta have to decide, am I going to follow the masses or am I going to figure out what I was put on this earth to do? Decision fatigue inaanzianga hapo. Because the moment you can make up your mind that no one is going to have a say, and I don't mean literally no one, because bado tukiendelea with the conversation, I'm going to tell you where people are going to come in. But no one is going to describe how I am going to do the things that I do in my entire lifetime. The moment you will reach that point now, decide, hivyo ndo kutakuwa. That is the first step towards personal branding.
So it's about more of, like self-identity first.
Personal branding has to always start with your self-identity. Who are you? Because when you look at the way the systems have been placed, even the way businesses come up, they don't come up from competing with each other. Netflix became Netflix because they are the first people who came up with a subscription-based model of payment for movies. It wasn't there before.
Yeah.
They came and they beat Blockbuster. Nakumbuka hizo zilikuwa zinaitwa aje VLC. Pana, si VLC. Ilikuwa inaitwa aje hiyo kitu kubwa yenye mlikuwa mnaweka tape ndani.
Ile ingine ilikuwa inaitwa DVD. Sasa ni hivi.
Yo, sasa achana na DVD. Kulikuanga na ingine unaweka cassette kubwa ya rectangle.
Kuna mtu hata ajui DVD ni nini hapa.
So zilikuwa zinaitwa VR. That time. Yenye tulikuanga tuna watch Bruce Lee. I might be an old Gen Z, but still. It's the same kids you. Na tulikuanga tuna iconnect kwa TV iko na mkia, because those TVs used to be bulky bwana. But anyways, from that zilikuwa zinaitwa cassettes. From cassettes tukaenda DVD. The only people who are making noise around that time in the movie space ilikuanga Blockbuster. But then when Netflix launched, you can watch a movie as many times as you want at a fee for a month. That is when they actually saw success. When we look at Nike, the moment they discovered we want to help people go for it, that is when their brand boomed. When Google discovered tunataka kujulikana na search, that is when they got their big break. So even as you look at these businesses, tuongelele pia Microsoft. The moment they discovered people hate papers. The moment they discovered we can actually create a system that can allow people to create documents and they don't have to keep writing over and over and over and over and over 50 times, that is when Microsoft picked up. When Mark discovered we want simplicity, that is when they blew up. So it always has to, be it a business brand or a personal brand, it has to start with identity. You either have to be the first to do something, the best at doing something, or the best at doing something. We have the example of Tesla. Ford tried to build an electronic car, wakashindwa. Mercedes tried, wakashindwa. But Tesla became really good at it, and they won. So they became the best at building electronic cars. Or you have to be different. Difference inakujanga sasa kwa between Nike and Adidas. The only thing that sets them apart is the difference. How does it feel when you have a Nike? How does it feel when you have an Adidas? How does it feel when you have Louis Vuitton? How does it feel when you have this other big brand, Chanel? Because they are all in the same industry, but there's something different about each
brand.
Yes. So it starts with you figuring out what is your identity.
Wow.
My identity is I'm an artist.
Hey, wacha kufigure it out right now, jameni. Hey.
Take time with the question. Sit with it. I mean,
sit with it. You have to really sit with it.
Maybe nilikuwa nimekanyagia sana. Unaona venye unaendanga kwa pastor na mwambia shida zako zote. Nakwambia mwana wa mtoto wa Mungu umekuja njo. Kumbe shida yako ni hii. Maybe today wewe ndio umekuwa pastor. Ni sawa. Amina.
Wewe.
Just kidding.
Wewe wacha. Mbona ndio unaogopa hao watu? Wewe usilete mchezo. Kazi ya Mungu.
Nimewacha.
Kabisa. Anyway.
Apart from you have really brought me to this analogy. I've seen designers who go deep into I'll be designing for NGOs. If you become ukijikubali in such a way that me, I love giving back to the society. You can relate with you being a designer. You can design good sites or applications that enable NGOs to prosper. It's giving back to the society. You can relate with that. So so it comes back to self-identity. And then now, how do you tailor that to showcase to people like this is what you do and this is who you are and this is what you do?
Like I said,
no huyu hajakuwa nasikiza mwalimu. It is not what you do, it is how you do what you do.
It's how you do what.
And you already, I think Chantal has already answered you. Ushapewa. Pole. Ushapewa. Lakini wacha to bring clarity. Nirudie.
Yes.
Just in case kupita.
Tafadhali.
How you get to that point is you actually show people how you do the things you do, the way you do them.
The way you do them. Unaongeza tu vocabularies. Aki jamani.
Si vocabulary. Sikiza.
Ni sawa. Tueleze.
Showing people how you do, what you do, the way you do it. So if it's you moving from the point where you literally you are clueless about who you are to a point where you discover your self-identity, take people through the journey of you getting there. If it is you showing people, I want to dedicate my skills towards giving back, take people through the process of how you're gonna move from literally knowing nobody to the point where you are now helping NGOs. I hope it's making a bit more sense. Literally, carry people on your back as you're going on that journey.
To pay example, hii NGO ni hiyo NGO ilikuwa ya?
Nikiweza fikiria hii NGO ni environment, inataka kupeana like awareness. Like for the youth, how to start living eco-friendly. Like unaweza ona takataka kwa barabara ubebe uende upeleke kwa dustbin. Ama kwako unaweza katakataka kwa dustbin.
Ama watu umeenda mbali, mtu tu asitupe takataka.
Yes.
No.
Yes, as a litter around. Yes.
If you want to do that, give people an incentive. Waambie kama kuna mtu hata because you know people in your community, kuna mtu unajua personally, unamwambia tu polepole, sasa kuna challenge fulani ninafanya and I want to start sensitizing people waache kutupa takataka kwa barabara, na inaanza na mimi. Kwa hivyo nataka wewe uni monitor for the next, let's say 30 days. I don't know, let's use the case example ya 30 days. Namwambia for the next 30 days mimi nataka kujifunza hiyo habit ya kutotupa takataka. And it has to be around a place they are constantly seeing so that they see the progress. So namwambia mimi unaona hapa penye tunaishi, every single day I'll be taking like 30 minutes or 45 or whichever amount of time you say, ninapitia ninaokota takataka, ninatupa kwa dustbin for the next 30 days. Na in case nishindwe, nitakuwa nakupea let's say something like 200 shillings ya credit ama ya soda or whatever you will agree. So say does two things. Atakuwa your partner, atakushikilia mkono, na pia atakuwa your testimony if it works. So wewe unaanza nini, unaanza nini, unaanza nini. So you have already collected a testimony, kwa sababu the person who's gonna be vouching for what you want to start, the initiative you want to start, ni huyu mwenye alikuona ukifanya na akaona literally umse akiokota takataka every single day, takataka ina reduce around our environment. So atakuwa your biggest advocate. Hata ukienda kwa initiative atakuwa akianza kusema, manzi, unajua alikuja akanipea challenge fulani, mimi nilikuwa nafikiria ako jokes, lakini manzi alifanya 30 days. Imagine leo place manzi, hata ukitembea saa hii haikai venye ilikuwa inakaa. You have gotten an advocate. So hata ukiitisha watu to sign up, even if you'll get 2-3 people, move with those 2-3 people, you get another set of advocates. Pole unaanza kujenga, because if someone can come and vouch for you, see wewe you are doing the talking, and that is what personal branding is. Someone can mention you in another room where you are not present. Akienda aonge kukuhusu, there's a high chance you are going to get more turn-ups, more sign-ups, more everything, kwa sababu you are not the one advocating for yourself. It is someone else doing the extra mile for you. So I hope I'm making sense.
Yes, you are. We learn a lot so far. Okay, sorry, I was just taking that in. I just want to know, how do I balance? So for me personally, sometimes nakuanga conflicted. How do I balance? I'm trying to showcase leo nilikuwa na brainstorming session, nilitumia hizi techniques, naona. But sasa hiyo brainstorming session really happen kazini, and then kesho I'll be like, oh, today I've done some sketching and this is how I did it. But it's on my personal application. So how do I balance that, or how do I go about that?
How do you balance? Time management.
No. Swali ni, I'm supposed to post, but I'm conflicted. I keep posting about both these things. Like where does personal branding cross the line when it comes to company, or how do you do it in a safe way, or vituka hizo?
Okay, if you want to do personal branding and you're still under a company, I did it when I was still under a company, you just draw a line, and I know I'm sounding unfair, lakini kuna watu tu utarusha under the bus. I'm sorry. when it comes to you doing things. So, say for instance, you are at work. You have to be fully committed at work. And during your free time, do your own thing. That's why I was talking about time management. So for instance, if you're working a 9 to 5, I'll tell you what I used to do. If you're working a 9 to 5, there are breaks. You get tea break. And if you don't get tea break, sijui unafanyia kampuni gani hiyo kazi hama. You get lunch breaks. And then you also get off work, because after you've reported out of work, you're not supposed to be contacted. You're in your personal space now. So it has to first start with you putting a boundary. But okay, let me take you back, Kwanza. You have to identify the time blocks that you are in. So, from 9 to 5, I'm in these two spaces. There's a time I'll be having personal time, and there's a time I'll be having work time that I'm being paid to do my work. Yeah. So, when it comes to, let me use the example of personal projects. If there's a personal project you want to do it at your own time. If it's a business project, do it during business hours. Acha kubeba kazi yako nyumbani. Acha kubeba kazi yako into your personal lunch time. Acha kubeba kazi yako into your personal tea time. Because those are personal times. Yeah. So you will have to learn how to balance your time. Once you learn how to balance your time, now you can start thinking about how better am I going to package my personal project, and how am I going to better package this business projects that I'm being given, which is the one paying my bills. After you have gotten to that point, now you can start figuring out, okay, if it's coming to a brainstormed idea that is related to the business, you don't... That is why we have teams. You don't have to brainstorm alone. Go to your team co-workers waambie, na by the way kuna hii idea fulani inakuja. Would you mind figure out pamoja, so that you also lay off the burden of you having to do the entire thinking of the company on your own, so that you also create a little bit more creativity for your personal things, which are your personal projects. Now, because in the business side, ushapata wase wanaweza kusaidia. Now come to your personal side. How can you actually find people wenye wanaweza kusaidia? There are communities, there are hackathons, there are design-thons actually. I remember there was a design hackathon by Friends of Figma around this year. So you start seeing, okay, so kwa personal, I can get help from community or participating in that design-thons or hackathons, or just finding someone who's trying to figure out mentorship is another good one. And then that way you can work on your personal things, so that you're not doing everything alone. You have a feedback loop, which is very important. So that even as you're building, you be it business or personal, there is a group of people who you can go to wakwambie, by the way, design umefanya hapa, isi wewe, ini shenanigans gani unaendeleza. And on the other end, kani biashara, someone can tell you, me was not, okay, your idea was good, but me was thinking towards this direction. So either way, you can do both, but you have to be very strategic about it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Umetupiga reality checks.
Maze.
Sawa.
As we're winding up, clearly this conversation is way far from over, and I'm pretty sure hatuja cover everything, so tutauliza pia audience. Sasa naweza kuuliza hapa tu live, unaweza kubali kurudi tena, because clearly we need to have this session again.
I don't mind. I think you guys will just alert me mapema, so that I schedule you guys in my calendar, because I wouldn't want a repetition of this prolonged conversation.
Yeah, sure thing.
Yeah, ndo tukuje
Yeah.
tukiamua it's this day, it is that day. And I
Yeah.
don't fail you. Juu ninajua mko already there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Nice one. I love that.
So, any last words for people who've listened until this end? They're really interested in personal branding. Alafu pia tutapewa say links zako na za Bulbos.
Alafu sasa kutuambia event na kam.
On Saturday, right? Sawa.
No. So there was a change of plans. To discuss with the organizing team, and they were like, because we even took feedback from the community, wakasema, manze, we thought we'll be available, but where things are working huku kwote, we have to be CV what. So there are a lot of things that came up, and then I also got sick the beginning of this month. So planning kidogo, I was not available. So we postponed it to next year. But there's still another event coming. Yeah, this event that's coming, it's actually a planning kind of event where it's a virtual one, where we will sit down, we plan career-wise, professionally-wise, and branding-wise. We set the goals the beginning of the year. So that event will be happening in January. So just in case someone would be interested, I will be sharing the information because we did the survey. We are doing the survey this week with the community. Juniwa wali suggest hata si mimi, because they were like, we need a planning session. We don't know where we are going with our careers.
Interesting.
So they suggested it, and I was like, okay, but if we do it, it's not going to be a physical one. And they were like, it's okay. We can commit for 3 hours. We do it virtually. Tupange mpango. And then we will be having quarterly check-ins every single quarter of the year. Tuangalie how far we've reached with our goals. And I was like, fine, we'll do it. No problem. Yeah, so if any of you would want that information, I will provide it. Yeah, and if you want to join us, you can join us. Our community is very welcoming, by the way.
Very, 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 yeah, 100% for that.
Yeah. And we accommodate every profession.
Many others. Utanitumia link in a few minutes, tafadhali. I share it to the community.
I'll share with you.
Sahi.
So
I'll definitely share, because we are very accommodating. Apart from that, we will also be having those other community events and everything. Every information you guys might want, shoot me a text, ndawaambia kila kitu.
Anything you'll want to share, we can share on the other side. At least it gets to the other side. Mali na
ni wapi?
Unajua kuna conversationalists wenye maybe hawako kwa community.
Sasa unawaita hivyo. Sasa the other side ndo wapi? Kwenda huko nifunge. Gloria, uko na any shout outs?
I just probably just a thank you note. Thank you guys for having me, because it's not easy. I love appreciating people for taking the time to just listen, because that's a skill a lot of us lack. So thank you guys for taking your time to just hear my thoughts out, hear the way I think out. Having me on your podcast, it's an honor. And yeah, I look forward to us doing this more and more.
Thank you so much for coming. Actually, unajua, we also understand your schedule is busy. Ukakubali kukuja, wacha tuniambie. Let me tell people what you're talking about. Unajua, umetupiga whips hapo mahali ni sisi tu watatu tumeelewa. Let me just tell people what happened. So I saw Gloria's, of course, she's done perfect personal branding. Nitashare links kwa description and after this post. So anyway, I mean after this episode. So I saw her work. I followed her. Actually, I could take a lot of posts and I was like, Chiki, so you tusaidie sisi ka designers to personal branding. And so I'm booked twice, imagine, and we've cancelled both times due to unavoidable circumstances, though I kind of think would have been handled better. So yeah. Thank you again for still accepting Kukuja, and we truly apologize for that. Life is lifing, man. It's 2024. Mazee, sijui kama ni mimi peke yangu nalia, paychecks bana, mfuko bana zina bleed. Atufikirii straight. We are working late into hours, so yeah, I think it's a problem everyone's having right now. But all in all, I've learned a lot about personal branding. I cannot wait to share this episode. Utamshukuru alafu ni wrap up.
Mi nataka kumwambia umenipiga whips.
Gloria. Anyway, we'll not go that direction.
Anyway, just I don't want to add anything for now. I'm waiting for the next episode with her.
Yeah, actually, nitafanya survey. Gloria, if you won't mind, nitakutumia pia utumie comment yako. Sasa utajibu hizo maswali zote uko nazo na kuona sana na tuna hiyo time. Ambia watu jina lako alafu
Mariga Elvis, and it was very nice having Gloria here. At least amenipiga whips and more about personal branding. At least, you know, the best part is how she has elaborated it, like anyone, not even a designer, like anyone.
Yeah, anyone, literally anyone. Nilisema to me, I was just telling you how it happened. I'm not saying I'm a designer.
Yeah.
But how it happened, I was thinking about me and my design community, my designer friends when you try to second now. But yeah, literally anyone can listen to this. And kama umefika hapa pia unaweza share, like and subscribe. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Bye.